So, regarding to what we are here to do today, do you think that collaboration between banks, fintechs, and regulators can bring about efficiency in the clearing and payment system?
Oh, thank you for that question. And absolutely, it's a yes for me. Collaboration is key, and collaboration is very extremely important in the payment ecosystem, be it banks, be it regulators, be it even the fintechs, and maybe, yeah, just everybody. As long as you pass through the financial and payment ecosystem, collaboration is important. So when you think of security, when you think of compliance, when you think of even servicing the customer and meeting the needs of the customers, the more we collaborate, the better. The more we collaborate, especially in terms of compliance, security, and risk, because that sort of strengthens the payment system and also builds trust even to the customers that we serve.
All right, thank you so much, ma'am. Do you also think that incorporating the new upgraded technology into the bank, like machine learning and AI, into the banking system, do you think it's going to make security more efficient?
Okay, of course, introducing AI and machine learning tools into the payment system will obviously advance the payment system. Just as AI is advancing everything we do in our daily life, it's just the same way it also helps us in the payment system. So it's able to read, it's able to understand, it's able to predict the things we should do and do better. We obviously also know that it has some disadvantages too, but the advantages over and supersedes the disadvantage. So using AI tools to help us fast track innovation, fast track the payment system is actually the way to go. Are we ready for it? Are banks ready for it? Are payment systems ready for it? Even the whole payment ecosystem, I would say yes, we are ready for it. However, what we need to keep doing is to keep improving in technology and also in terms of training, customer engagement, and also acquisition of knowledge. I think that would actually help in a lot of ways. And like I mentioned earlier, I am the Vice Chairman of Committee of E-Business Industry Heads. And as the Vice Chairman of Committee of E-Business Industry Heads, and Committee of E-Business as a whole, we have a responsibility to ensure that we achieve all that is set in terms of the payments ecosystem. The industry believes in us, and we also believe that we will deliver on the mandate that has been given to us.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So let me ask you this last one. Do you think the payments banking clearing system can be 100% secured, like in terms of fraud, theft, and all that?
Okay, in every payment world, and if I tell you here that all over the world that payments happens, and typically payments happen everywhere in the financial ecosystem all over the world. Have we seen a situation where it is zero fraud? No. But what we strive to do is to ensure that there is minimal fraud. There will always be bad eggs among the society, and as long as there are bad eggs among the society, you will see people that will test the system. But in terms of readiness, are we ready to curb all of that? We as institutions today are ensuring and putting things in place to ensure that that the ecosystem is protected. In terms of the kind of infrastructure solution, fraud management tool that we put in place, we are ensuring that I'm sure you do that. We're ensuring that we'll make sure that the payment ecosystem is secure. That I can assure you that Nigeria is doing. The CBN is on it. Nigerian Interbank Settlement is on it. And banks, even individually, have put in a lot of resources and infrastructure to ensure that we have less fraud and fraud is reduced to the barest minimum. As Committee of E-Business Heads, and that's CB, we will be launching our own solution to sort of be our own way of telling the public that we are ready to curb and address the fraudulent situation. So our annual conference is coming up. Meet us at the Hotel, 4th and 5th of December. We'll be having Committee of E-Business Heads annual conference. And part of the agenda is us also launching our website.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Miss, may we know you?
My name is Favor Idigo.
And what do you do?
Operational Risk Officer.
Wow, that's interesting. So practically, you can tell us about everything we're here today because we are here to talk about basically security, clearance, and payment. Okay, now I want to ask you this question. Then when it comes to the speed of transactions, these days when you make a transaction from one bank to another, it takes 5 seconds and then it goes. Do you think that with this speed, do you think that it will also be secured? How do we balance security and that speed when it comes to transactions?
Okay, thank you very much. I think one of the basic things, the world is evolving, so it means that a lot of changes are happening in technology space. And speed is one of the things that would actually help boost transactions. I think the basic way of balancing it out would be ensuring that even before that transaction is consummated, you try as much as possible to ensure that the measures, the processes that are expected to have been taken to do that is actually, you actually carry out that process and ensure that it is secure, it is safe, such that when the transaction is consummated, you don't have reasons to be afraid of whether or not this transaction had gone through. So I would say, for instance, for transactions, you would actually start from like your KYC. You must ensure that you know the customer. You already understand if you're banking somebody, you're banking the right kind of person. You know the information, you have the information about the person, and that makes it easy for you to be able to determine the customer and also know if that customer is actually a customer who is going to be able to bank with you, so that when transactions come in and they are fast, you're able to carry out those transactions. And then on the other aspects of considering outsiders or hackers or attackers, I think to a very large extent, if the security and the standards that has been stipulated by the regulator is put in place, then you would be able to be sure that you can protect information security.
Thank you so much for that. Okay, secondly, I'd like to, when we talk about fraud, thefts, identity theft, phishing, and all that, people tend to think, oh, it just happens in Nigeria. You understand? But do you think that this fraud, theft, all everything, is it global, or do you think it's more concentrated when it comes to Nigeria here?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. I think basically fraud, theft, all these risks you've mentioned are actually a global phenomenon. It's not peculiar to Nigeria, but we'll say that to a very large extent. The extent to which you're able to prevent it, the extent to which you are able to proactively put measures in place, the extent to which you're able to ensure that you safeguard your organization, it will actually help prevent those frauds from crystallizing. So it's not like, so we might just say to a very large extent that cases where you see this prevalent, they have not put in the right measure or mitigants that will help to prevent to a very large extent these frauds from happening. So the advice would be basically ensure that your processes, your policies, the information security standards that have been put in place are actually followed to the latter, so that you'll be able to achieve preventing frauds from occurring in your organization.
Okay, thank you so much. Please, what